Imagine being taken away from your family at the age of 7. No toys, no comfort, no childhood, only pain, discipline, and war. Most children would never survive, but in ancient Sparta, this was only the beginning. These boys would grow into the warriors the entire world feared. More than 2,500 years ago, Sparta was unlike any other city in ancient Greece. It believed that strength was everything and weakness had no place in society. Every Spartan boy was expected to become a warrior. At the age of 7, he left his home forever and entered the agoge, one of the harshest military training systems in history. Life inside the agoge was brutal. The boys slept on hard ground, trained from sunrise to sunset, and received very little food. They learned to fight with spears and shields, to obey without question, and to endure pain without fear. Every challenge was designed to make them stronger. Years passed, and the boys became disciplined soldiers. They stood together, trained together, and trusted one another with their lives. In Sparta, courage was not a choice. It was a duty. Then a new threat appeared. The mighty Persian Empire marched toward Greece with an army so large that many believed no force could stop it. Thousands upon thousands of soldiers advanced across the land, carrying banners, shields, and long spears. Their goal was simple: to conquer Greece. King Leonidas knew his army was small, but he also knew the land. He chose the narrow pass of Thermopylae, where the massive Persian army could not fully use its numbers. There, only 300 Spartan warriors stood beside their allies to defend the passage. As the Persian army approached, King Xerxes watched confidently from afar, certain that victory was inevitable. His forces stretched across the valley like an endless sea of soldiers. Against such overwhelming numbers, the Spartans seemed impossibly few. Before the battle, Leonidas stood before his warriors. They raised their shields and tightened their grip on their spears. They understood that the odds were against them, yet none of them stepped back. Soon the Persian army attacked. The Spartans locked their shields together, forming a wall that refused to break. Again and again the enemy charged, but discipline and unity held the line. The narrow pass became the Spartans' greatest advantage. The battle grew more intense. Dust filled the air, banners waved above the battlefield, and thousands of arrows darkened the sky. Still, the Spartans remained in formation, protecting one another with unwavering determination. Wave after wave, the Persian army continued its assault. The Spartans fought with extraordinary courage, proving that skill and discipline could challenge even the largest army. Their stand became a symbol of sacrifice and honor. Eventually, the defenders were surrounded. They knew the battle could not be won, but they chose to fight until the very end. Their goal was no longer survival. It was to buy time for Greece and inspire future generations. The Battle of Thermopylae ended, but the story did not. The courage of the 300 Spartans became one of the greatest legends in history. More than 2,500 years later, people around the world still remember their bravery. They lost the battle, but they became immortal in history. And now the question is for you. If you had stood beside the 300 Spartans at Thermopylae, would you have stayed and fought, or would you have run away?